There's a reason saying no to a drink can feel so uncomfortable, and it's not what you think. Stick with us because once you understand this, everything gets lighter. Saying no to alcohol isn't about strength, it's about clarity. So today, Susan and I share the unexpected way to find it. Welcome to Sober and Lit,
the podcast for women who want to get sober, stay sober, and live a life that's way more lit than it ever was with wine.
We're your hosts, Ruby and Susan, two alcohol freedom coaches keeping it real with stories, tools, and zero judgment.
Whether you're sober curious or all in, you're in the right place.
Let's feel lit, alcohol free. Welcome back to the Sober and Lit podcast. Hi, everyone. Do you struggle with saying no to a drink? Today, we're talking about something that sounds simple, but feels anything but. How to say no to a drink. If you've ever found yourself holding a glass you didn't actually want, smiling politely while your nervous system is screaming inside, this episode is for you. So listen in. Susan and I are going to share what really helped us, a few gentle tools which you can use right away, and why this isn't about willpower at all. It's about safety, belonging, and learning how to honor yourself in real time. So, saying no to a drink is a real struggle for my clients, and I struggled with this too. What about you, Susan?
Oh, yeah. You know,
Yeah.
I would think I'm going to this party and I'm not going to drink, and somebody just hands it to me, and I'm like, oh, well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is though, that saying no, it's psychological stress. It's like deprivation. So when you actually say no, it feels like wah wah, right? It doesn't feel good. No, I can't partake. And when you say yes, when you mean no, that is also not good, right? It feels like you're fake, or it's stress, and you feel icky inside, like you're just people pleasing, right? People pleasing comes to mind, and there's so many of us that are people pleasers. So we're going to talk about some tools here today, though, because what you really want is just to feel safe when you're out. A lot of this is when we're talking about parties or in social situations. I want to ask you, though, Susan, where do you feel the most pressure to say yes?
Usually at social engagements, everybody's toasting with champagne, and I don't have an AF alternative, which that's my strategy, is to bring one. Or most of the time, just in those situations where the wine or the champagne is really part of the whole experience, and that is the time that I feel the most it is awkward, to be in another country like Spain or Italy or France, and they come around and try to pour you stuff, and you're like, no thanks, and they look at you like, what is wrong with you, lady? I find really uncomfortable.
Yeah, and you just use the no, so we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
So for me, it was really family, I think. I just when I'm around family parties, it's hard because there's so much history and nostalgia, and those are the people that know me the best, or do they? Or am I trying to pretend and be a people pleaser? My mom, says, I got this special thing for you, a special bottle of wine, or my stepdad, I made this special bottle of wine, and those are the times I remember feeling really, conflicted, and I might give into that peer pressure. And this happens for so many of my clients. I hear it all the time. And that's why we decided to do an episode on this, because it's truly one of the tactics that I use in my coaching program, my Alcohol Freedom Academy. And, we actually dive in how to maneuver through social situations. And there's strategies and tips and tools. There's so many. And the one I'm going to talk about today is, how a hard no also can invite questions, right? Mm-hmm. Because hosts want to be good hosts. We've done a few episodes on hosting, and we want to be good hosts, whether you're hosting or you're going to someone else's party. And so it's in our culture that we serve wine and alcohol, cocktails, right? That's just part of our alcohol is just steeped into our culture, and it's normalized. So when you say no, the host might take it personally. So, but when you say yes to something else, it keeps it light, right? We want to keep this light, because no energy is like pushing pressure, and maybe you have to explain yourself, but saying yes. So an example is, if a host says, would you like a drink? You could say yes. I'd love sparkling water if they have it. Now, Susan just brought up bring your own, because we can't always guarantee that the party, that the host, if we're going somewhere else, will have what we want or what we need or what will make us feel special. But some of my go-tos are iced tea, sparkling water, coffee, tea, hot tea, kombucha, just plain old water too, sodas. And it's not a deception, right? I know people want to be honest and they want to be forthright. And we're assuming, though, when someone says, do you want a drink, that they're saying alcohol. But you could just, in your mind, you could say they just mean, which beverage do you want? And you get to pick any beverage or bring your own that you want. And I know it's hard the first time. It is. And I've been there, and it's uncomfortable the first time. But if you have a plan in place, so what's so great about having a coach is you get a plan in place. We work on strategies together. What would work for you? I'm going to give you, and Susan, we're going to give you some ideas today, but really when you're working together and I dig in deeper and figure out what would really work for you, it's customized to you in the one-on-one coaching. So again, the best tactic is bring your own, BYO. I will throw LaCroix, cans in my purse. I have a big purse. It's like a backpack purse. I will throw 2 or 3 of those in. Sometimes I'll bring an alcohol-free sparkling. If it's an event where there was going to be like champagne, I will bring my own alcohol-free sparkling. We've shared, the first time I met Susan, we had H2O sparkling at Deerfield. And that's so that's because it's nostalgia too. I love that, that one. It's really, really delicious. It's like a sparkling alcohol-free wine. And it actually,
it's like water. It's like a sparkling water with an infusion of wine, I think. It's very light and refreshing.
Yeah. And I had a Christmas Eve at my house with my mom and my sister and my cousin. And actually, I said it's an alcohol-free event, a holiday party. And so I had H2O, and they loved it. They wanted seconds, thirds. They loved it. I had both there's a Pinot Noir like flavored one, and then there's a Sauvignon Blanc flavored one, and they loved it. Yeah. What do you think about BYO? I know you already brought it up, but do you have a little story about BYO?
I have tons of stories. Talk about, I always joke around, like I brought a little tiny mini bottle of the Prima Pave sparkling. And so a lot of the sparkling wines are making these mini bottles, or they're making them in cans. So you can, like you said, throw them in your purse to a wedding. I was joking around. This is like different from purse wine. We used to bring our own wine in our purse.
Right.
Now we're drinking alcohol-free wine in our purse.
That's hilarious.
And in Spain, I bought a bottle of alcohol-free red wine and brought it with me to different dinners and lunches, the midday lunch where they're always pouring copious amounts of wine. And so I had my own so that I was partaking with everyone else, but mine just didn't have ethanol in it. Right.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm a big fan of BYO.
Yeah.
AF. BYOAF.
And you can sneak it in if you can. You can be very obvious about it and gift it to the hostess and host and say, I brought you this AF, wine or beer. I love AF beer, by the way. And it comes in cans. So it's, you could chill it or if you like it a little less, you can figure it out. Bring your own little cooler. I have so many clients that say, I got my little cooler all ready to go to the beach, or I got my cooler to go to a party, or I'm meeting my friends to go sailing and I brought my own little cooler. So having a little tiny cooler, or if you're okay. I like beverages, honestly, that are more room temperature. I'm a weirdo. I don't need it to be chilled so anyway, BYO, very good idea. That's our number one kind of tool here. The second is to have your phrases, your go-to phrases picked out and planned and practiced in advance, because we don't want to be in that place where we're making explanations. You don't want to have to like tell long stories about why you're not drinking. We want it to be quick, light. So try the yes first. Yes, I'll have sparkling water, for example. But if you have, to go a little deeper, we have lots of phrases that we can help you with, but you get to create your own. And I actually created a worksheet, which please, see the link at the end of this, but there's a worksheet that can help you so that you don't have to have all these explanations. You can have some really great phrases, like a go-to phrase. So I'm going to share a story really quick about bringing my own and having a phrase. So I went to my grandmother's funeral, and this was early sobriety. I was in my first year of sobriety, and I was really nervous because for my family, drinking at funerals is kind of expected. A lot of drinking, cheers to the person who's passed. And I was already emotional, right? Distraught. And I was feeling a little weak at the time, So I grabbed a Starbucks. I went to Starbucks, got a big Starbucks cup, and I held it. I brought it into the funeral. I brought it into the reception after. It was at a restaurant, a big reception. I still had my Starbucks cup. I could fill it with coffee. I kept refilling it. And anytime anybody asked, I just would hold up my cup and say, I'm good. I got my coffee. So it's very light, positive, right? I'm good. I got my coffee. Do you have a phrase like that, Susan?
I think it's different for every event, but usually, I bring my own something, or, it's just even having something in your hand. You don't even have to have a phrase, you know what I mean? But I try to really make it a fun thing. Like, look, I brought this really awesome alcohol-free wine that came from blah, 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 and I have a little backstory, and always bring enough for other people to try it too. So then, they don't drink up your supply and then you have nothing. But I guess, if people ask, I talk about this as having your elevator pitch. Yeah. Your phrases is just, your phrase, I'm not drinking tonight, like in the early days, or now, I just say, I don't drink because, I just feel so much better not drinking.
Right.
The end.
Keeping it positive
keeping
again.
It positive.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here are some ideas, again, these are just some ideas. You can write them down if you're listening and want some, like I'm good. Like I said, like I'm good. Or how about just not tonight? Or you can even go, not right now, but later. You can kind of, stave it off. Like but then they'll question you again.
Yeah, I wouldn't say later. I would just say, oh, not right now. I'm fine. Yeah. And then hope they never come back.
Not right now. Yeah, you're right. Not tonight. You can, no, thank you is a complete sentence. You do not have to explain. Or a really common one is I'm driving. I'm driving. Alcohol just doesn't agree with me. Or like you said, Susan, I feel so much better this way, right? Not right now. Let's see. So those are just a few examples. One of my other favorites is I'm so dehydrated, especially in the summer. You can use this. I'm so dehydrated and I just need water. I'll start with water. Start with water. Maybe later,
Just super thirsty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the host or hostess, they do want to be a good host and hostess. So if you're like dehydrated, thirsty, that's understandable. You don't have to explain it. People know when you're dehydrated and thirsty that you need water. Yeah. So a lot of times people, when you say no to a drink, they're going in their own head, the other person, and they have fears. Oh no, am I losing my drinking buddy? Right. And it threatens maybe the connection, or a fear that you're judging them. Oh gosh. I remember when I was drinking heavily and someone said they were not drinking, they were alcohol free or whatever they worded it. I remember I'd immediately start like judging myself. Oh, and thinking, are they judging me because I'm drinking? You can reassure them. No judgment here. This is about me. I'm just not drinking. Often you've heard of the mirror, it just, that when you say it, it just activates so much in their head, and their inner questions just start going wild. And I, so often I'll be out and I'll be like, no, I'm alcohol free, or if it comes up, and they immediately tell me how much they're drinking. Have you had that too? They're like, oh, well, I only drink 1 glass on Fridays. And I'm like, I didn't ask how much you drink it. I don't care. Go ahead, drink as much, it's
I
your
start
journey,
at 5.
my journey.
Yeah.
So you experience that too. So really what I want to share here is also to have your beverage, like bring your own, have it planned out in advance. Or if you can't bring it, like you're going to a restaurant, figure out what you're going to order in advance. So this is about planning, and then having your phrase picked out, maybe practiced in front of the mirror, like pick it out. Why this is so important? Because if you have a maybe, it really is like negotiations in your head. You're like talking, that cognitive dissonance we talk about, where you're maybe like that devil or angel on your shoulder. Should I, shouldn't I? Oh, and what if someone, my mom, who I love, says you have to have this glass of champagne. If you practice in advance what you're going to say, oh, thank you so much, I'm really dehydrated, I'm going to have water. Or, oh, I brought my own. I brought some AF sparkling. Thank you so much, but I brought my own, AF sparkling. So what happens is when you're negotiating and having that maybe, and you're not certain, those cravings come up. And then your voices get loud in your head. And if you can you can have confidence. So hopefully when you download this worksheet and figure out, you can do this for every social event. Just figure out what you're going to bring and get your phrases in line. A yes phrase is always good. Positive, light. This will you'll go into this event with so much confidence and clarity. And so I hope this was helpful.
Yeah. So helpful, because that is, a big deal for clients. Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh, I have to go to this party. Oh my gosh, I have to go to this thing. What am I going to do? Yeah. In the beginning. Yeah. Yeah, even now, like I've had, I shared that I had my moments recently that I was like, this is more uncomfortable than I thought it would be.
Yeah, even I'm 6 years alcohol free. And just like you said, I do this kind of, and when I don't plan it, I do. It's not that I'm having cravings like I'm actually going to drink, but like it's uncomfortable, and it's just so easy. It's just easier, you guys. It's easier if you've planned in advance, you have your beverage, you have your phrases, and then it goes like swimmingly.
So smoothly. Yes.
Smoothly.
Yes. Amazing.
Well, we are at our listeners' favorite part of the show. Oh my gosh. So please keep listening to the very end every time, because we share what we are doing to feel lit in our lives, feeling lit, feeling good. So Susan, what are you doing right now to feel lit in your life?
Well, so I've talked about maybe yoga snacks in the past, but you turned me on to this, Ruby, is doing this 30-day, 15 minutes of yoga at night for relaxing before going to bed. And so I have been doing this. I mean, I pretty much made it every night. There were a couple of times when it was just too late and I just went straight to bed. I didn't want to stay up even 15 more minutes later, because I've been also really trying to work on my sleep and go to bed by 10 p.m., 10:30 at the latest. So I guess that's 2. I better pick one.
Pick one. No.
All right. I think the one that's really been making the most impact, honestly, is getting that earlier bedtime.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll stick with that one.
So you're feeling lit.
Bed. Yes. I feel so much better. I've been working on my sleep. I've been wearing my Apple Watch to bed to be able to track my sleep and seeing improvements and just seeing the evidence. And the earlier I go to bed, the more REM sleep and the more deep sleep I get. And the later I go to bed, the less, in addition to less overall sleep. And there it is right there. The proof is right there. I get better sleep, better quality of sleep the earlier I go to sleep. Mm-hmm. And so I've been really getting to bed by 10.
Yeah.
Lights out by 10 is my goal. Sometimes, it's 10:20. But yeah.
You know, when you track, it's so true. I got this Fitbit watch and now I track my sleep as well. And I just started doing it in November. So just for a few months. And it's really to see the evidence. It's really, I don't know what you measure, you can improve. I realized I was just willy-nilly, going to bed. Like I'm really trying to work on it too. So, and it makes me feel better in the mornings.
Yeah, so much better. Sleep is so important, and learning about, longevity and how important sleep is to aging well. So that's really and just the misinformation. It used to be when I was younger, it was like, oh, the less sleep you get, the better. Like, pound, go, wake up early, go to bed late. La, la. When I was young, I would stay up till midnight and get up at 6.
Oh, yeah, me too.
And think I was like rock star.
Well, when we're younger, we can do it, but not in our 50s and,
But sleep is so important all the way around that I wish that I hadn't done that, So, yeah. And if I go to bed past 11, I've noticed I find it harder to fall asleep after 11. Like I really struggle to fall asleep, and I don't usually have a problem falling asleep. And so, but I notice if it's past 11, then I do, which is really interesting too. So it's just interesting.
Yeah, you're gathering information and a Fitbit or Oura Ring or an Apple Watch can help if you want to start tracking. And for those of you drinking, when you stop drinking, holy moly, all of your blood pressure. I mean, it is amazing how many markers. Your sleep improves, your blood pressure goes down, heartbeat is better. Like it's amazing.
Yeah.
So
good.
Yeah, let's say we're a fan of tracking this stuff. Yeah.
Well, because that positive reinforcement, the positive when I look and go, ooh, I got great sleep, then it makes me the next day want to go to bed at 10.
Right.
And go, if I start to inch towards, watching a show too late or do this or that too late or read too late. When I read, I have to set a timer because I just get involved in the book and all of a sudden I look at the clock and it's 11:30 and I'm like, Yeah. So if
set a timer
at 9:30 and I get in bed, I set a timer for half an hour so that I stop reading and go to sleep.
Good idea. Yeah, sleep is so important. I'm also a sleep coach. So if any of you have sleep questions, or I definitely do a lot of coaching around that. So, well, before you go, if you found this valuable, I created a free boundary script worksheet to help you decide what you'll say before, you're preparing your phrases, before you're in that moment. And so you don't have to negotiate under pressure. So you'll choose your go-to phrases, your yes to something else, your BYO plan, bring your own, and you can download it right now by using the link in the show notes.
Yay.
Thank you. Yay.
Thanks so much for listening to the Sober and Lit podcast.
If you enjoyed this episode, we would love it if you would subscribe, rate, and review. It really helps get the word out.
And remember, do something today to help you feel lit.
See you next week.